Welcome to Vertical Movement PT. I'm Dr. Cindy Kimmy, physical therapist. Today we are going to do a total body workout. So if you have resistant bands or resistant loops, go ahead and grab that. If you don't, it's okay. You don't necessarily need it, but grab your mat and find an open space and let's get started. First, we're going to start off with a warm-up. Our first mobility exercise will be cat-cow. So when you round your back, you want your head to drop. When you dip your back, you want your head to lift up. You just want to make sure that you're moving evenly throughout your upper back, which is the thoracic spine, and from your lower back, which is the lumbar spine. This is a great exercise to learn to be more aware of your spine and which parts are moving well and which parts are not moving well. Go ahead and just do a few more. And now we're going to move on to thread the needle. You will stretch your arm up towards the sky and then you're going to bring it down, reaching underneath you. This mobility exercise is wonderful to help with the rotation of your thoracic spine and rib cage. You just want to be careful not to force this mobility exercise. You want to do it nice and gradually, moving only with what movement your body allows you and slowly moving into the new range as you loosen up. Next, you're going to go ahead and switch to the other side. Doing the exact same thing, stretching your arms up and reaching underneath. Make sure you have your eyes following your hands. That way you can get a nice stretch and a warm-up also for your cervical spine, which is your neck. Go ahead and take deep breaths, matching your breathing with your movements, breathing in and out. Next, we're going to move on to an active hip flexor stretch. You're going to step your right foot in front, left and back, and using your left arm, stretching it up and bringing it back down. You should feel a nice stretch in that left hip. Now go ahead and switch legs, left leg forward, right leg back, and have your right arm going up, stretching towards the sky and back down. You should feel the stretch in the right hip. This is a great stretch to help with low back pain or any sort of hip impingement or tightness that you feel in your hip. Next, we're moving on to a modified jumping jack. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and move on to an active jumping jack. This helps increase the blood flow throughout your body to get your muscles nice and warmed up and your joints warmed up to help prevent injuries. Next, we're going to move on to an active hamstring stretch. Make sure to be nice and gentle, allowing your hips to tell you how far you can reach forward. Don't force it. Listen to your body. Next, we're going to move on to an active quadriceps stretch. You're going to grab and alternate your foot and bring it towards your butt, stretching out the muscles in the front of your thigh called the quadriceps. You also want to push your hips forward so you can feel a deeper stretch in those muscles. For our last warm-up exercise, we're going to do an active adductor stretch. You're going to spread your feet and shift your weight side to side. You should feel this in your hip adductors, the inside of your thighs. This is also going to warm up your hips. In the strengthening routine, grab a band. If you don't have one, that's okay. It's just to add a little bit more of resistance. You want to add the band above your thighs if you haven't, And then you're going to go into a plank position. We're going to do planks with toe taps. So you can either start on your palms, or if you prefer, you can fold the mat and go on your forearms. I find that doing planks on your forearms are a little bit harder. So once you contract your core, you're going to alternate tapping your toe to the side. Do your best to make sure that your spine is aligned and that you're keeping your head and your neck aligned with your upper back and your lower back. We're going to go ahead and do 10 of these for each side. Exercise, we're going to work our core and we're going to do star sit-ups. You're going to stretch your arms above your body and stretch your legs out wide as if you're a star. Make sure your core is nice and tight and that low back is not lifting up from the ground. If you find that your back is lifting up, then you can go ahead and shorten the range of motion of how far you're reaching over your head and how far your feet are reaching out. You're going to go ahead and do 10 of these. Next, we're going to move on to a side plank with a clam. So you can fold that mat to protect that forearm, especially if you have a hard surface. You're going to go up into a side plank on your knees, lift up, and lift your knees up into a clam, and then go back down. Make sure your ankles are together and that your core as well as your thighs are aligned, that they're nice and straight. Make sure that elbows right underneath your shoulder to help protect that shoulder. And if you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can go ahead and add a resistant loop to your thigh. Just make sure your core is nice and engaged the whole time you're doing this. You're going to go ahead and do 10 of these clams. Now we're going to go ahead and switch sides. You can go ahead and lift the hip up and open the knees, opening to that clam. So same cues, just make sure that core is nice and tight, that your thighs are aligned with your core so that your hips aren't too flexed. And just make sure that you're feeling this in the back of your hip. And that's where the gluteus medius is. Once again, make sure that elbow is right underneath that shoulder. Next, we're going to go into trunk rotation. You can grab a band if you have one, and if you don't, that's okay. You're going to set up in a plank position while you're on your palms and rotating and stretching towards the sky. This is a great exercise to help with your core stability with rotation, as well as helping with your thoracic spine mobility and your rib cage. So just make sure when you're doing this that you're doing it nice and slow, keeping your scapula, which is your shoulder blades, keeping them retracted backwards and engaged, keeping your head and your neck aligned with your spine, your core nice and engaged, as well as your pelvic floor muscles. Okay, let's go ahead and switch sides. This time I'm going to get rid of the band so you can see how you can do this exercise without a band. So doing the exact same thing, plank position, rotating towards the ceiling. Make sure your eyes are following your hands so that you can get that full rotation from your cervical spine and your thoracic spine down to your lumbar spine. And what you're looking for is a nice, smooth motion. Speed is not the goal here, but quality of the movement, that's the goal. Okay, and you're going to go ahead and do 10 of these. Now we are at round 2 of this routine. We're going to repeat this routine for a total of 3 times. This time I'm going to let you go ahead and enjoy the music and get your workout on. you have it. You have just finished your total body workout. Grab some water, take a rest. You deserve it. I'll catch you next time. Peace.